was always so helpful during
Were those
broadcasts.
laptops there when we were there?
Not on that seat, but they were on the analyst desk. Milos
was the only one who had one last time.
Yeah, he took them all for himself. He didn't want us to have any.
The longer we wait,
He's
maybe
very possessive.
more and more of them will get there. Zero gone instantly. You think about why it's so much intel on a map that you're consistently trying to find ideas of where people are. It's narrow staircases, narrow control points and pushes, and then for some sites like Aviator Games, you're looking at putting pressure from underneath. A well-placed zero cam or a SAM cam can, it makes things more complicated for the defenders to have an arsenal of 5 cameras in someone's pocket.
Definitely, and you kind of got to see it like this as well, right? Villa is a map where Valkyrie truly shines. We very often see very well-hidden Valkyrie cams placed around the map, and of course those can be used with the SAM cams as well. But then to give the edge to the attackers, that is not really something you would like to have, as Clash is the last one to be removed. We saw a bit of a nuisance coming down in the previous game right here from a Clash. Not happening so far this time around, though. We're heading to Aviator Games, and did we just see a fuse being hovered? Could that be a 6-pick from Soldier?
I kind of want it to be.
Same.
Was it Soldier who used to play fuse quite a lot before?
I think it was someone on Talon, that's for sure.
Someone on Talon, on Consular, I'm getting all these vivid memories of a fuse player, of just using it to, I guess, on a map like Consular, you can try and use it to clear utility if you get above and you're pushing the bottom. Sure. Here, probably less feasible in terms of this was the map that was first designed to have no immediate points of entry. So you've got to get your fuse into an awkward situation or position if you want to use it against flat ground. Probably not a success story, but that little part of me that's like, it would be really cool if it was. Like, you want to see...
It would be really cool. But where can you use it for, especially this side? Now, you cannot rappel up in the middle of the building, so you're not going to be able to put them above the reinforcements. So that leaves basically nothing. You might be able to put some pressure down onto the study, actually, and maybe onto 90 if there's the players. But, it's a very dangerous thing to put it down on a window or a door, as the sound is quite distinctive. And if a player is indeed playing there, you will be shut down because you're in that animation for 1 to 2 seconds at the exact X mark. So let's shoot at the X if you want to get the headshot. So yeah, easy to pick up a kill like that. So it's more used for the downstairs sides, I must say. And I think Library would be the better choice, but that barely gets played.
That's it. But we're starting with the traditional AVG, a fairly spread out hold here across the top floor. Not too concerned with what's going on underneath, but Talon fully concerned with taking care of T1 over here on the split site, making, I guess, their angles something where they can try and push people. They're not jumping in and going for the quicker phrase. As Soldier, I say, doesn't quite find out where Yeti is able to take a very quick pick against the entrance there. I think they mispicked out where the Jaeger was, assuming they were in Astro. They are now, but they have a head on their belt and are looking for a second as Tomorrow stacks up and falls back down.
Yeti with the double there. Very unfortunate for Soldier to start off with, just hammering open the wall right there with the Jaeger being prone, ready to pick you up as you do. And suddenly you find yourselves in a 2-man disadvantage. T1 so far in the lead. Yeti finally will be taken down by Assy. And will take some damage in return. Actually managed to get the kill to 11 as well.
3 versus 3, concerned about the rotation possibility of whoever was putting pressure on Astro's stairs, but for now, pops it just inside the window to make sure the frame blows them back across. Vamos is opening up the feet hole angles in case anyone tries to swing up the stairs, but there's still no pressure coming from underneath. 2 minutes and 2 bodies wasted to try and get control on the opposite side. You think about the frag grenades lost from the pocket of Soldier, and that could be a big blow to the utility count, especially when you've still got those Banshees all around the board, as well as shields with the very high intensity swing angle doubled up by the bulletproof on the back wall. This is a nightmare to try and put some pressure across. They have control of the stairs. They still have some concern on the potential of a rotation background from the player that was playing there before, but otherwise they've stacked themselves up on study. Red, an entirely red take and push here as they try and push themselves from the top of the stairs with a little bit of pressure around Classical, but for now, 40 seconds, it seems well put together from the guns of the defenders.
Yeah, so a lot of the utility being removed right there, a couple of flashbangs being tossed in, basically putting the shield open and vulnerable. However, nothing is following up on it so far. The shield is allowed to stand as Labyrinth's feet are about to get taken off by Vamos, and then we have 20 seconds left. This is the moment where the attackers need to go if they want to get this round with Canis at the bottom of the main stairs.
Oh, and that's a big take. The man that they were kind of watching on the roam before gets caught by a sneak up the staircase, and the pressure's coming from the opposite side. One goes down in response and revenge. Vamos is holding the tight angle on the door, but they don't quite catch Canos, who just careens in, finds 1-on-1 versus 1. Labyrinth is sticking the diffuser, but the C4 decides no, and T1 with a twirl and a spin take the first round.
Turned out to be very stressful in the end, even though Yeti was able to pick up 2 very early, very well-chosen frags as well. A lot of the utility was gone off the board right there for Talon, and somehow they managed to almost bring it back right there. So well played on Talon, as they showed that they are able to deal with the pressure. So now go to trophy stat trait. It's T1 that is leading the charge. With that, we'll be taking a temporary 3rd place position in APAC North.
It's temporary. It's first round with a defense win on Villa. It's fair to call this, you know, uncalled as of yet. If my words make sense.
They do.
Let's not put the positioning in the top right ahead of the cart. Or the horse ahead of the cart. However, that ace saying probably works. He's full of them. I love it that he's joined the Talon team.
I'm still waiting for the riddles to come in or something like that, you know what I mean? Like something to crack our minds open when we have to wait for like rehost or some technical issues. Of course, you don't want to have technical issues.
No, I cannot believe you just on a broadcast asked for technical issues.
No. I asked for Ace's riddles that he normally would be putting up during the technical. Like, I prefer just having them like that, but I'm not sure if we get them from him.
Anyway, let's jump over to the hold that they've set themselves up with. Yeti on the roam yet again is playing around towards the art side, and this was a bit of a problem. The opponents of Talon tried to oppose whatever he was doing inside Astro before, but he was able to take 2 of them before they shut it all down, and they've gone with still a very wide play and a very wide hold. He's buried underneath and waiting for somebody to try and approach the master bedroom windows. If he goes unchecked, though, he can really strike the back. They're running across 11, who gets past Z's on the window. No. I was about to say he made it clean and clear, but unfortunately nothing was clearer than a man on a drone and the body he was able to pick up next. The rest of the blue bodies have headed all the way back, including Yeti. Realize they're in a 5 versus 4 and don't want to play the risk on the roam catch because, well, it seems Talon, well, they've sharpened their claws between the previous round and this on their roam hunt.
Well, you could already see from the previous round that there is some big potential in the likes of Talon as they managed to bring back that 5v3 situation into their favor and almost able to pick up the round if it wasn't for that final C4 to be tossed in right there. So they definitely seem to be doing well on the back of that first. Is this? Oh, okay. Where does that land?
Oh!
Replica's just away in time, but he must be quite confused where it came from as he's looking down into the red hallway.
Wow, I mean, it's a great use of utility, able to swing all the way in, and, you know, it takes out the pretty dangerous Goya shield that we see an angle played by a lot of players and a lot of teams that try and lock in behind the bomb chassis and use that to swing on the door, and it makes those ADS moot now as they're able to pull up because there's nobody to try and offer the counter to the pressure. So, Talon have saved themselves a lot of work by a bit of unpredictability. Now, though, it's seeing if they can take care of Revy, who's holding inside the walk-in closet and ready to pop up and pop out at anyone that might get a bit too close. Soldier is aware of the danger, but Replica is going to make sure they're the first to apply it, as they don't need the shield, they say. They swing on with the Goya themselves, suffer the flash potentially. There's the pop-up, and 2 pop down, though. Talon strike back very quickly and find their way right into the core of the site. It's now a 4 versus 1. Vamos, the only one left underneath with a blown and wasted C4, and now it's a very long walk back to the top of Astro's stairs. Pepper some bullets around the corner. They're well aware of where he is, and, well, they can't quite find it with the drop down the middle. Or was that the verticality? Either way, the flashes are making sure that the progress up the stairs, well, they go no further.
Very valiant effort there. Try to make happen what he could make happen, but you know, you're in the bottom floor. You need to come up either of these stairs, which will be very well covered by any of the members still alive. As we trade round, it's Talon to pick up a attack straight afterwards, and they look pretty strong, I have to say. They look at this very moment better than T1, but it might just be, you know, the first game jitters of them trying to you know, get ready again. They've had rough starts before, as we are going to trophy stat tree again due to the fact that Aviator Games has not been unlocked yet. They have to do something different. They managed to get some picks out, but they were just overrun on the actual site. And how do you stop that?
Yes, it's one of those eternal questions, and often asked on Villa of a surprising place, because sometimes when a team is getting that much momentum on their attacks on what is a very heavy site with a lot of possibility of locking down before they even get close to the places where you've put your diffusers and your bombs, and it's this situation of we can't let this momentum build up. We can't let them run away. There is this lull, this slow chunk of time before the on-site aggression happens every single round. That's how this map is designed. You have a bit of a time burster built into the map design itself. If that starts getting narrower and narrower, if that starts falling into the hands of the aggressors, well, it just feels so much worse.
See a bit of an extension now coming down into the Aviators and Games room. Shields being put up, possibly even Pest, hoping to slow down the approach of the attackers like this, hoping to stop them in their tracks, take the gunfight elsewhere rather than right on the site, because if you lose them there, the round might as well be over. Whilst as if you manage to waste some time and you keep them all the way on that Aviator Game side, we still have a lot of ground that they need to cover right after. So maybe that is the way how they like to stop the attack. Whilst in the meantime, Soldier opening up the windows most likely will be putting pressure soon from the walk-in closet.
Big set of a rotation here now as they try and find a different avenue of approach. We can still see an outline on the very top of the building, I believe, so potentially going to try and pop the grenade. The same method they used before, and I'm curious to see if there was any misplaced or replaced ADSs in a position to try to catch some. No, obviously there doesn't seem to be any setup apart from a Goyo that's gone deep down into the wine to see if they can find a different approach. But look at this. Talon have seen clear space and gone, well, I want all of that. Canos tries to swing on the door, gets dropped by Yeti. They go for a second. Tomorrow finds two, but Vamos stops the approach. A double kill, though, and Tomorrow is inside the site itself. They read there was a mix, but Vamos is having none of it. I11 is the one that tries to stop it on the approach. A trophy. Now, the Nomad is a little bit trapped from either side. Two words in two different places caught at the same time, but the Goyo was the first to be off the border. 2 versus 1 versus 1 as Aziz finds 2 heads and finds just 11 dug in on a soft corner. But look at how much time there is, and a drone to get the intel. The C4's caught. They know roughly where they are. It's going to come down to the burn of who gets who. Popping on the rotation, no, popping on the close angle, and there goes Mozzie running away behind the deer on the opposite side, as this is going to get the diffuser in response. Pops the flashes around the corner and, well, tries to find him on the drone again.
As another drone indeed, quickly checking, is he there? No, he's going for the aggressive push, is ready for it, trying to go for the pre-fire. Now the enemies, or the friendlies actually, will be having some information. 11 going around, the air jet will be going off, just misses the opportunity for the shot right there, and we'll have to move. Now the Banshee will slow him down, 36 seconds, trading shots right now, 11 quite low, and he gets it. Talon able to get that final kill in after a very intense 1v1, a little bit of a cat and mouse game by trying to find him on the drone, trying to get the shots in, but both parties missing. And Talon now taking the lead. A 1v3 clutch coming in. Very big.
Well, we progress and we see aggression. They felt that there was enough that was off the site that they could go for something quick with a drone leading in the way. And if it wasn't for the wonder work of Vamos, it might have been a different story entirely. But it came through with, well, a bit of a rebuff and a bit of a response. I will say, though, that was a lot of catching the kills as they came onto them. They broke their way through onto site, and it was either a double or a triple that locked down from Vamos on the opposite side that really stemmed the flow of red bodies into the blue setup, and I guess maybe they almost got away with it, but there was obviously Aziz to be able to pick things up at the end. Dropped on the Goyo, round the back, goodbye, and then see you later.
Yeah. That second peek didn't have to happen. At that moment in time, it's suddenly a 1v2 situation. You just hold. You try to play for refrags, and the way that you peek that there's no way that the refrag is going to be able to happen. So, bit of a mistake happening there on the sides of T1, and Talon able to punish that by the newest addition to the team. Let's see if they are going to be able to keep this up. Villa, very defensive map by nature. Currently winning 2 attacking rounds is already very big. I was looking for the operator bands, but I don't see them on the overlay. But we do see, however, Canis being spunky. It's not very helpful.
No, taking out the equation very early. You've lost your Ash. They haven't had the biggest impact in terms of kills, but we've seen them droned in. They have all the confidence of an entry that you want. And then, well, that is 95% confidence on the approach in a lot of situations. Here, though, barely allowed anywhere near the building as Tomorrow tries to find some response. Caught by a Mozzie that's waiting and being a pest at the top of the staircase. Labyrinth concerned about the swing round on the opposite stairs. Got to keep your hard destruction clear and have that clarity to try to approach it and put some pressure on the site in a different manner they did before. Previously, they went from the opposite side of the second story where we can see Replica playing towards the bedroom. This time they've realized it did not work for them. Lost too much too early, and now they have even less to work with.
11 able to pick up yet another kill, turning it into a 5v3 situation here for T1. Another one coming in. 11 getting a double kill himself. A soldier now finally manages to respond. It's 11 to go aggressive. A triple kill for him. It's only up to the Nomad yet once again, but this time in a 1v4 situation. A C4, but caught in the middle of the area. Is going to be trying to get the gunshots down now onto Replica, but will not be hitting anything as of yet, as his foot are being taken out from below. Jumps out the window just to use that little bit of time to try and reset and try and calm down.
Well, a minute 20 and you're in a 3 versus 1 now after being able to pick off 11, who's already picked off 3 of your teammates. So that's a big blow potentially, but still, you're on less than half health and you're all out of utility. So it's down to just your guns, just what has been pre-placed, and just the intel you can get from your teammates. In the other hand, they still have an eye on you. They still have a C4 and a Pokeball ready to take off that final 50 of anything that you call blood. But 50 seconds, may as well still drone out. We're seeing the Nomad who did the clutch before this time one step harder, as it would have been a 4 versus 1, so even more left to do on the site that you lost the first time round, and its pressure on the red door seems to be the start. There is a body inside study, and they're concerned about the one behind the chassis that's rotated round, holding the high angle. Sprays pre-fires, doesn't quite catch them. They're able to get in by the vault door, but goes back out because of the Banshee on the strategy table. And, well, the C4 is the end that they will see. T1, bring it back to level pegging.
Try to bait out the C4 right there, but eventually wasn't able to actually catch it. But, you know, let's be fair. At that time, there wasn't really any time left for him. There was no way he was going to be able to pick up all those 3 kills or get that planted down, as he still didn't have the diffuser in his hands. So 2-2 is where we find ourselves right now. Talon, with 2 of their attacking rounds won. T1, with both their defensive rounds won in Aviator games, will now be forced to go to Dining Kitchen due to the fact that, well, trophy stat, they tried it twice, they failed twice. Let's try and do something different.
I'm curious to see what gets done different, because we did see 2 slightly different holds from them before, but generally they've been doing some pretty long extensions across the top floor, and it was almost punished successfully, and then it ended up going against them either way because they just seemed a bit lax on the hold on Astro that otherwise fell between. And no, in fact, it's Kitchen either way, so that'll be the next one. I need to learn the lesson at Des. Don't read the sites and write them down until you're on the site.
It's that Kitchen the entire time. For
I don't listen to you though.
I was sorry about it. But yeah, this is the thing they need to do different. As I said, like they failed twice. They're now going to Kitchen because, you know, you got to do something. You cannot just, you know, keep hitting your head against the wall and hoping for different results. So Kitchen it will be, and we know that verticality is quite important right here. So you see the pulse coming out. You see 2 Z4s, but one on Vamos, one on Replica. Those should be used to try and take out any of these members of Talon who would maybe be trying to take that top 4 control. which is being hindered by the Capcan traps of Revi, the laser gates of Varuni, and they're hoping to make sure that they can keep control like that.
Rooney has shown a big showing inside all of the games that we've had across multiple different regions so far. She has, for my money, been the first operator in a while that's had this instantaneous showing. Ace did flirt with consistency, but to the level of a Rooney, I don't think we've seen so far since, well, a long history of operators. I'm really curious how the stats are going to show the growth in her and Iana, who, to be fair, this is one of the first setups and attacks where we haven't really seen her so entirely. The use of getting rid of utilities seems consistent, and Talon have decided they don't really want to roll that way. Instead, it's gun pressure, and there goes Yeti, knocked out of the bathroom as they're able to try and start getting control of the top floor.
See how powerful the drones are right here. A very aggressive meta. Just try and find the players and take the gunfight. It's something we've seen in EU as well. Just basically the lack of drones being taken down before, well, a fatal accident as a result of one of them. And right now, you have then again the entry frag, this time on the attacking side of things. Soldier able to achieve that. Now opening up the floorboards with his skeleton key. He's going to be starting to put down that vertical pressure fluke, and that means that soon we might see the other C4 being used of Replica, which is now being blown up as I say it. And Soldier blown into pieces, bringing it back to a 4v4.
The most terrifying part of any Bucks job is when they're trying to get the floor open at the beginning with C4 still on the board, and there's the cost. But they were able to get a fair chunk of that already done, so with the successful entry, things might have already gone their way. That sure isn't, though. Swung wide onto the player that's been able to clutch so many situations, but there's revenge from one of the other ones tomorrow. Hits down Revi as they try to rotate via the small pantry box, and, well, Labyrinth has stepped up to apply some pressure on the opposite side as Canos takes care of Vamos and hops in via China.
Right now, the man advantage is there. Default chem is still up, giving information whether or not someone will be coming down from the southwestern side of the map. Labyrinth, in the meantime, will be receiving a bit of damage, and that means that the pressure is on. The diffuser will have to come down, but it will be dropped from that side of things. Replica getting another kill as well. It's now in a 1v2 situation. It's only up to Canos, but he manages to take down one. And there's 20 seconds left. 20 seconds to get the final kill in, with Labyrinth being a live drone, so to say.
Yeah, there was a catch there on a drone. We saw the solid red ping, so they're playing the mind games, but it's a Pulse who doesn't even really need the intel, is waiting to see where the rotation is. 8 seconds, has to get the diffuser and then go for it via barbed wire of anything. Won't even get back in time. Hope for the kill. Replica sitting pretty and clean inside the washroom.
You should have been aware of the fact that he wasn't down pantry due to the fact that your player just came from that position. Really strange. But in the end, T1 managing to pick up the round, and that is what matters. Now we'll be forced to go to trophy stat tree. They lost it twice before. Talon had a really good shot at that round right there just a second ago, but they failed to clutch it. And that brings us into a 3v2 situation now, and trophy stat is up again. Will Talon win it for a third time in a row? Or is it going to be T1 that finally managed to hold their lines?
Remember all the things I said the previous round when I miswrote down the site? Just imagine I'm repeating
them. Did you do it again?
Just imagine I'm repeating them now that we're actually on the site I thought we were on. Just imagine that all the spiel I said about them having a very wide hold.
We'll just copy-paste that in
here just copy-paste the audio and replay it of me saying that they had a very wide hold the second time round here, which has sometimes been mixed success, but what we saw from Talon was a very quick read on that, and they got very aggressive very quickly. Vamos was the one that tried to slow it down, and it looks like they've learned a little bit of the lessons in that they're setting up some of the jammers across the bathroom side. They're potentially going to have a little bit more of a hold. The Goyo is gone this time round. Instead, they're bringing the Valkyrie to try and get more intel and secure more of potentially that loose aggressive game that might play into them rather than the setup, because what we've seen from Talon is they're so quick at taking care of those shields that why try and hide behind them when what we can do is try and get underneath them, get with the intel and the 3 C4s that we've got and try and destroy them.
Wondering if we're going to be seeing any of those crazy grenades coming in again. It's the last round right now onto the attack here for Talon. Soldier now looking to take the control or study. It seems to be the first point of interest that they look to take. And Revi Coach player is there to try and stop that from happening, to get about 11, both holding somewhat tight angles, hoping to catch one off guard as they start and entering onto the actual study side of things. Siazi just waiting on the 90 window as well, just making sure that rotations can be cut off indeed if they happen. But right now, 50 seconds are gone by, and the first kill will come in. It's 11 to drop the diffuser. It's 11 to get a double kill. This is the second time that he manages to gain a huge result from that position before he's finally taken down right now by Tomorrow, bringing it into a 4v3 situation with Revi being able to find himself back towards the actual site.
Yet again, we're seeing an isolated player from T1 able to cause some problems for the approach on Talon. Yet again, we're seeing the Sledge suffer. The frag grenade's gone early, but the Ace too, with all the limitations of the hard wall that otherwise would come through on a master bedroom push, or potentially the angles that they might want to open up in the box outside of the site itself, it leaves them a little bit stuck, because now they've got a funnel. Now they've got to try and push against what they actually have as possibilities, and it's a very dicey approach. There's still loads of intel, loads stopping all of this careen closer, and the concern is now down to the guns that they have to try and swing with, because yeah, sure, there's some pops and possibilities of utility, but either way it comes down to 2 narrow doors and a couple of strong angles behind them.
Tomorrow hoping to find an impact right here. He's quite low himself, so decides to go for a little bit of a prone peek. It's not something that players often expect to happen, and with 50 seconds left, well, they need to make something happen soon. But Replica and Revi have a crossfire on the A-bomb side. Vamos and Yeti are going to be able to hold up the B-bomb side altogether, and even though they have still full control basically of everything, so Kanos really needs to put some pressure down from below, and it's exactly what he's doing right now. Tomorrow gets the entry frag. That is going to be opening things up. One part of the crossfire is now taken care of. It's just Replica behind the bomb chassis, but that is going to be a difficult one to try and get as he manages to get the first kill. It's a 3v2 situation now as Tomorrow just snakes in, hoping to find himself on the angle, finds the head, brings it up to a 2v2 situation with 15 seconds left. Are they going to be able to even get the bomb plant down? It looks like yes. Kanos is now initiating the bomb plant. C4 being tossed in. Tomorrow has been down. It's up to Kanos now with 1 second left on the diffuser plant. 45 seconds and a retake situation. Now gets it down onto Vamos and gets Yeti as well. Kanos absolutely godly in that play, getting both the kills right after the plant himself. He does it all and brings the round home for Talon. One that was needed for the second half to commence.
What a play, what a clutch, what a swing. The air jab saved the life and the round, but my word, if you want your Ashe player to have a moment to shine and show up, sticking the diffuser, swinging onto 2 after causing problems underneath, that was a heck of a moment to start to shine. An even balance, 3-3 at times. It seemed like it could go either way, but they did very well to pull some of those rounds out of T1's hand, like the one we just saw, or the one that boiled down to the 1 versus 1. They are sitting comfortably now as they head over to their defenses with the even split. Lion on the board is always a bit of a worry, but you look at Replica bringing the Jackal for the first time today. We're seeing him played, at least as far as I remember, and it's a control of space. It's a control of the possibility of a roam game.
It definitely is, and it's something that we knew from the old Scars, for example. They really like to hunt down the roamers as quickly as they possibly could, bringing the Lion as well, bringing the Jackal when available, sometimes even the Finka. Now that one is being left out for now, but you know, we cannot guarantee we will not see it in any of these next 6 rounds. As Talon right now finds themselves on that defense, and it is up to them to make sure that those EE1Ds will be used and will have no impact, because it's, you know, it's a tough thing, right? As soon as people find out your location, the EE1D gets popped, the push starts to happen, because if they move, you get real-time information about where they are. That's just basically how the gadget works, and it is annoying to play against sometimes, yes, sure, but there's also a way that you can manipulate it. If you manage to find a little bit of room right before the drone and the actual EU1D pop, there's a little bit of time that you can use there. So sometimes people rely on it too much on the attack, and then it can come back to bite them.
You can get a bit lost in the sauce on your roam game on this map. We're seeing the top floor and the basement be fascinations of clear replicas droning out beneath, but Tomorrow is the first one that's suffering a confrontation here. There's an ADS on the door and a disc out there too, but with the Goyo momentarily away from being popped and Canos trying to hold down the lock on the opposite side on Bathroom, it's something where they're both being battered back. They don't want to lose their lives to this, but they do want to eat up as much utility as possible. The drone goes off, and that for a lot of players is going to be the signal that we need to get out of here. And well, the door's up, which is going to give an idea that Replica's trying to creep up the back stairs. Yeti wasting no time pushing their way across, as you can see that they've just been battering and bashing and pushing them further and further back. Yet again, another slip away and escape. The guns of Talon, they are playing that cat and mouse game now and almost flirting with danger before waving the red flag at the bull charging of T1 and saying, no, not here. We're going back to the site.
You have to give credit, though, to Talon with the discipline they've had to fall back as soon as it was necessary. As soon as the utility started to fall, the shields started to pop, and the pressure came in, they dropped down. They went for a different kind of approach. This is a dangerous one, though. Good information, actually, from Replica. Using the red footsteps, indicating someone was inside that vault. Not going for the scan, because then, of course, the Melusi would know that they knew exactly where they were. Some a little bit more aggressive, maybe. They know exactly where they're coming from. Right now, Replica had to drop on him.
This has been so clean and aggressive from T1 so far, but they're up to the toughest bit. 50 seconds, and you've actually got to crack through the vault and see if you can get control of the plant. It seems like they want to try and feed the diffuser up classical and long for now as they start to crack open the close side. That one's not going to work as the jam keeps it going, and 11 almost suffers, swung on from the study door as we start to see some response aggression from Talon, knowing that they have to try and stem and slow what is being a very quick pace. Here the E1D pops off yet again, but they don't quite catch anyone from it. 20 seconds, and they finally got some pressure coming on the backside of Canos. The smoke doesn't quite cover it properly as they swing and look towards the Jackal. The distraction as everything starts to batten down on this main study door. Everybody is starting to fall as they funnel in, and they're able to get the diffuser down behind the chassis with 11 holding the opposite side. Replica guns around the corner, but the diffuser carrier goes down, and Talon claw onto a round that so almost slipped through their fingers.
We had one man playing in the gun vault there. We had one just sneaking around on the actual bar, not being able to be found by the player that was chasing him down. And thus Talon able to, well, basically just claw in their first defensive round. It was a tough one. It almost went the way of T1 if they would have had a better position to plant in. You can only imagine what it would have been like if they would have gone for the plant right behind the vault's door rather than the bomb chassis, as then there would have been no angle to be used by any of the Talon defenders. But Dining Kitchen, we're not even going to Statuary straight away. We're first going to that bottom floor. They know the weaknesses. They have decided to go to the kitchen first, and probably Statuary will be after.
I wrote Dining Kitchen down this time.
Good job.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
You've come a long way since 5 rounds ago. And let's see if Talon can, I guess, hold on from coming a long way from losing the first round. It was bitterly back and forth before, but as I said, after the first round success of T1, it's very hard to gauge on a map like Villa because some of these sites just do play better into the favor of the defenders, and it's only on these secondary and tertiary bomb sites where you really get the stress and test of how the teams are holding. The castle is going to try and keep some control and coordination around the mudroom by the looks of it and just extend towards the library so they have that rest of the ground floor to play in. They have the lockdown above, and Talon were good at falling back. Sure, they wasted a lot of time, and it did come down to the wire, but it came down to the wire. And that sometimes isn't the best time span, the best time frame to rely upon. And if T1 got a bit sharper, it could have swung their way. They got away with that 20-second buffer before. I feel like a lot of these rounds are going to be nail-biters.
Should be indeed. This was the match where I expected it to go to overtime for sure. If there was one match, this one should have been it. And it's still on the board. We had a 3-3 split. So far, a very close first defensive round from Talon coming in. It's up to them right now to make this shot happen. Canos, beautiful and dirty at the same time. Able to pick up Replica like that. Yeti not able to be in time for the actual refrag. And that leaves them with men down. They do have top control, however. They have the opportunity to start working on the vertical, but then you look at who got taken out. It's your Sledge. It's the Caber that got taken out. No more 25 charges to use on those floorboards. You just have a couple of breaching charges now.
Well, it's a steady lockdown on the second story. They pulled back after getting the kill, and this is the perfect plan they wanted to pop out previously, but there's still a lion on the board. There's still the possibility of some soft destruction with those breaching charges from the hands of Yeti. As we hear one popped off, it's a matter of opening the most important angles. There's another one that goes off too, combined with the E1D. They're looking for Soldier, but Soldier's a pulse, and he's one step ahead at all times. Unfortunately, no C4s, though. All of them already ripped, torn, and blown as the Ace starts to capitalize on the pantry wall.
Still have the opportunity, of course, as he tries to blow it now, but already get taken care of. But tomorrow, picking up a second kill, Vamos will be taken out, and that's the Ace. So you just said he started to open up that pantry wall. Well, if you had any Selmas left in pocket, none of them can be used anymore. 2 people still on that top floor. We only have 1 right here into Laundry, and that is 11. He needs to make it happen right here. 45 seconds on the clock. Is he going to be going for a solo push, or will he be helped by either of the 2 team members above? It looks like Yeti will be descending down on the Astro stairs, hoping to go for a bit of a split push here, but you gotta stay in mind and keep in mind that there's still a 5v3 situation here. It's gonna be very tricky for T1 to try and get the round in right now.
They're well aware of the Banshee screaming just outside the washroom, and the angles are just held on and locked in by the Talon players. But one more suffers in the hands of T1 as they find themselves now in a 5 versus 2. Yeti at the bottom of Astro stairs gets dropped by the swing from Azzies, and now it's just 11 left, locked inside and now outside the washroom with 5 seconds. It's a matter of getting an exit kill, and even then he's just going to play for safety, and Talon put themselves 5-3.
I like how all 5 players are located around like the same couple of square meters, right? They all knew where he was. They were so ready to take him. They really wanted to get that kill. But 5-3 indeed, and Talon is starting to build a lead. They're starting to break away from T1, who have their, well, org debut into the APEC North Division. Dam1 did it before. They managed to actually escape with a win. So far, T1 really needs to step it up if they want to be following that exception. Right now, Talon having none of it. They're just saying, you know, defense, kind of our forte. We're doing quite well right here. We feel quite confident, especially if you look at that last round. The first one, maybe a little bit less, but as we are going to trophy stat tree now, this could be the point where Talon already secures their first.
Hey, defense is on Villa. It's just a place where you can really call yourself home. And Talon, as I said, they did just enough on their attacks. And I'm using the word just because 2 of the rounds, well, one of the rounds came down to a 1 versus 1. One of them came down to a 2 versus 1 clutch situation, which was a hell of a play by the Ash. That's still going to be one of those ones that's up there throughout the rest of the week across all the board of games. But 3-3 on an even split with that much energy heading into your defenses, it's only going to swing you into the momentum that Villa really, as I said many times, plays into. Here, though, they're going for the split site. It's been a bit of a contest between both teams. We saw pretty much 3 different styles of attack from Talon previously. A steady pace onto the bedroom, followed up by a quick pace push via Astro towards the opposite side control of Office and of AVG. And here, it seems like we might start to see a bit of a spread across AVG. The steady hunt of roamers is T1's game.
All right. 2 minutes 30 on that clock. T1 needing to take control of the map. So far, none of them are in yet, but they're starting to take care of some of the, well, default camps, maybe a bit of utility, of course. You don't need to be in at the first 10 seconds. They're definitely thinking about what to do next, because they're being contested currently. Study is really under contestation right here, as Labyrinth will be able to pick up the first kill, and you see instantly Talon is deciding to fall back. They're starting to go back towards the side. They have that man advantage, and they're willing to exploit that into the absolute maximum, and that is exactly what Talon is doing right now. One of the members managed to get back to side. One is still hiding inside the study, and if there is no drones that will be checking that out, there's no way that they're going to be able to find these 2 players, as it actually, they rotated back in together.
Yep, 2 bodies still locked in the middle. They're confident that they can keep the control here. The E1D is going to make things tough, and it's Tomorrow that goes off the board next. But Labyrinth, I believe, is still in a position to swing. They're baiting with the potential of just having a look around the corner. Canos isn't playing that game. Replica taken off. There's Labyrinth. One more for the board. And you look at all these T1 names that are slowly slipping away. He was behind the bar. The ping comes through, but it doesn't even matter. Labyrinth is going to take you to a triple on the board. Vamos is well aware of where the Mozzie is, but it doesn't matter. 4K for Labyrinth.
Absolutely well played right there. Labyrinth really showing up. Playing right behind his bar, managing to pick up so many kills and completely dismantling T1. And, well, that leaves us with Talon right now onto a match point. And not just one match point, it is a couple of them. I believe they have 4 or 3?
6-3. So they have...
It's 6-3, yeah. So they have 3. I was like, it's round 10, so it should be 6-3 indeed. It's just very unfortunate the UI is hidden. But anyway, Aviator Games, again, coming out. And if you remember, well, that was that one round that was literally a nail-biter. The closest one of the bunch that we've seen so far. Maybe T1 have enough to make sure that this one will actually go their way rather than Talon's.
As time will tell, because time was where things were told before. It was so close to the punch. And you wonder on certain positions if things had gone slightly differently. It was a lot of the success that came, I will say, from the Jackal that was going for the clear on the opposite side. And it seems like they've opted to remove that. Instead, they want to throw themselves as a steady flat force against and across the site itself. And I'm curious if that is the right decision. Obviously, it's always these changes that you look for. You think, how can we improve the push? How can we step up from where we weren't quite able to step pace before? And they've gone with the same extension here. They have the shields, they have the mutes and the ADSs. They were might to double down on catching this utility too, and then offer some control back at the spot. Tomorrow, he's going for something big, going for something bold. Nobody's there.
I mean, they have the opportunity to try now, right? They have a buffer of 3 rounds. They already secured 1 point on that board. And, well, you know, you can try something crazy in that case. Right now, they are a virtual second place. And if they manage to lock this out, might be even shared first. I'm not sure. Did we have a 7-1 or 7-2 today? I think we did, right? Not that it matters, of course, because it's only the first day. Just wondering.
Just wondering. I don't remember. Yeah. Time is blurry.
I'll find out.
You find out, and I'll cast the game.
I'll just find out.
Swinging on the corner now. They are holding it a little bit more aggressively, but 11's having none of it. Tomorrow, taken out first of all. A big blow as a big player is removed from the board. Canos is next on the board. Yeti is able to take care of them, and they take control of Astro. It was a different approach from Talon. Instead of falling back, they held their ground, and unfortunately, the only thing they're holding on to now is hands on cams as they watch the rest of the approach from T1. A very, very good take across the 2 bodies upstairs.
I found out in the meantime, and it was a 7-3, but it doesn't matter right now because we are finding ourselves in a 5v3 situation where Talon is 2 man down, and they need to make sure to try and bring it back. Replica just escaping death right there as he moves into the living room. Because Labyrinth wasn't able to find the angle on him quick enough. But he is on his way to try and go for a flank for sure. He just has to be careful that Replica is not going to be picking him up, because he does seem to be aware of the fact that one member of Talon is roaming somewhere below. And as he's just staying put right now, he has the opportunity of going and ascending the red stairs, trying to go for a very late last round flank, or last second flank, hoping to pick up 1, maybe 2 members. And it looks like Replica is about to rotate back up. It is going to be Assi that will be able to pick up the first kill. We still have 1 member down below. Labyrinth able to go for a flank, as right now it seems like T1 wants to go for the execute, as they are all setting up for these last 50 seconds.
It was around this time that they started this approach before, but they're doing it with a better body balance. Previously, they'd already lost someone underneath, but at the same time, they hadn't been able to do anything to the attack of T1 that is yet again stumped on these singular doors. They really need to find a way through, but they haven't quite been able to get the control from underneath, and they don't have the E1Ds to cover the movement, and Labyrinth takes care of Replica. That was the backside that cost them before. Now They found that lead of 2 bodies they had slipped through their fingers, and it goes even further. Twice they've been stumped on these 2 entrances and 2 doors, and yet again more of it is starting to fall across the battered boards of this red entrance. Less than 10 seconds. 4 bodies are all that's needed, and it's just this matter of waiting, wishing, losing 2, and Talon taking it.
T1 wanted to go for a rotate there. They're very happy, and they're allowed to be. I'm really happy for the guys because they've been struggling throughout the last season, and they're starting it off with a win right now. So very deserved for Talon. They played really well here today, I have to say. And while just breaking down that last round, the last couple of seconds, they were being slaughtered at the door, at the strategy table door right there, and they decided to go for a rotate at the last very seconds, really, and there's nothing that you can do at that moment in time. There was a 3v2 situation. A split push wasn't going to be saving you, and thus Talon are taking the win here today after a very